All right, Coach, tough one out there tonight, getting swept by BYU. Just give me your initial thoughts coming off of this one. What's going through your mind right now?
You know, what's funny is they were pretty comparable scores to last night, but it felt like a completely different environment than it was the night before in terms of the fight. I think, getting ace 13 times last night, it just felt like we didn't even have a shot, where we did have a shot. Now, we didn't execute, we didn't deliver where we needed to. Our three athletes that had over 20 swings hit 045, 083, and 048. So if you would have told us the scores were as close as they were, I wouldn't probably have believed you. So I think our mentality, we had good intentions, but you can see the difference between players who execute and we weren't there.
Obviously, BYU number 12 team in the country. What was it like going up against them tonight? What do you think the difference ended up being this time around?
In terms of the scores?
Yes,
well,
what gave you the edge last time?
Yeah, sorry. Last night, we actually contained some of their other players a little bit, and they made their errors then around it. So we held number 1, we held number 8 to some much lower numbers than they delivered today. And, they kind of got back to more where they were for the season. So we knew what they were capable of, but we actually slowed them down. So but unfortunately, the player who got 41% of the attempts last night still almost hit 500, and today did. So with 32 swings on a similar amount of attempts. So she's still, there's a reason she's been National Player of the Week and Conference Player of the Week. So that's what a score looks like. And so, I told our young ones especially, you want to learn, that's what it looks like to take care of the ball.
What you talk about learning. How much has it been a learning experience over these last few matches going up against these top Big 12 teams?
Every day has been a learning experience. You're taking it in. I mean, obviously, in that stretch was a familiar opponent of Houston, but you look through the net, and in terms of experience and the continuity of having played together, their team, Houston's team this year, is what we were last year, having players that have been on the floor 4 or 5 years together. And so there's something to be said about that. And that's the same thing with BYU. They didn't just appear on the map. They've built. I mean, Heather's been there as a head coach for 9 years, and even prior to that as an assistant. So that expectation, even though they're new to the conference as well, they've been a Final Four team. Those players have been part of that level of execution and expectation. So that's getting there. We're learning every single day of what it looks like. We show flashes of being able to hang. I mean, we played and competed better against the number 12 team in the nation than we did last weekend against the number 22 team in the nation. So we can come away from that, not being excited about the loss, but being able to stomach how we competed. We didn't always execute, but we competed.
I heard you mention number 10 for the other team. She's averaging over 4 kills per set, and she certainly got that tonight.
Yep.
How did you guys plan on trying to neutralize her a little bit?
Well, good idea. We couldn't play the cat and mouse chase game because if you shift your defense one way, she's going to hit around it. So we tried to play it neutral, making sure that our block was still taking up space. If she's going to hit over, which she was capable of doing and did some of the time, she'll do that. She's going to get her kills. We tried to impact a little bit more from the service line and where we were going and trying to elicit, okay, if we were able to push the setter back a little bit, she became a little bit more predictable with maybe setting their right side a little bit more. And so they did, and then again, executed a little bit higher than they were the other day, unfortunately. But that's really what we did, is try to impact it maybe where we were attacking them from the service line, as well as then playing a little bit of more neutral defensively, and just making sure that we were also not looking for somebody else to do the job. We were a little bit peskier on defense today, more relentless.
All right. What can you say about Chloe Shear's hustle this game, especially on that play in the third set where she had that amazing save going out of bounds? What can you speak on that?
Well, it's nothing that we didn't think she was capable of. She has a dynamic and explosiveness to her. She was definitely capable of that, and so and we talk a lot about leadership. She's one of our captains, but leadership is not just words. It's how you play. It's demonstrating confidence by just going there and doing it. A couple times, because she got caught even jumping in front of other players, and she was trying to do a little bit of that last night. But she was much more assertive in making shifts with our serving, which elicited some errors on their part today. So was really proud of just her overall leadership through action, but also vocally, as well as making some adjustments in our passing formation.
You ended up playing the night before the largest regular season crowd in program history. Only the FGCU NCAA game had more fans in it. What was it like to kind of be in that environment in the venue tonight? Obviously the environments have been major, but this has been like the biggest one yet.
Yeah, it's been great. Our fans all year have been awesome. I know that we've been creeping up record after record, so I thought they brought it no differently than they have all season, but it was packed in there today. So we love it. We love the energy in there. They're doing everything they can. They're helping us call challenges when the officials maybe call it one way and our fans beg to differ. So I feel like they're adding to it, and they're in there with us.
You ended now, of course, across campus. Former UCF Volleyball player Delana Sarden is getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. Just did she end up visiting the team, and just what was it like to have her back on campus again after she got inducted in the Ring of Honor last year?
Right. It's always fantastic when all of our alumni come back, and I think it's super important. And I'm trying to bridge the gap, and I did that the last 7 years since I've been here, is making sure that the players know who came before them, who hung those banners already, that were already here, making sure that every single player knows if one of them wore their jersey number before them, and it's super important. So excited for Delana. She's well deserved of that honor, and we always, anytime our alumni come back, we invite them into the locker room to talk with the team, and a couple of them actually wrote notes that I shared with the team pregame. So it's really cool that they're able to stay connected and really just demonstrate that pride, whether or not they played with each other. They were just super proud of our team.
How have you guys this season tried to fill the hole that McKenna Melville left?
Well, and I think I've mentioned this earlier, we stated from the spring that you don't replace a McKenna Melville, you don't replace the national leader and just go, all right, you're going to be it. So we knew that we were going to distribute differently. Our numbers were going to be distributed differently. And so that's really what our focus has been, is don't try to be something that we're not going to be, just find out who we are and what makes us tick.
What has it been like going up? Because when we first going into this season, you saw at the end of the schedule was like this gauntlet of top 50 opponents game after game after game after game. Mm-hmm. And now that we're kind of like in the latter half of that point, what has it been like from just a recovery perspective going into these games at this point in time in the gauntlet?
It's brutal, I'm not gonna lie. Especially playing back-to-back days. There were 2 weekends, the Baylor weekend and the Houston weekend, where we played 2 matches in 24 hours. That's brutal. So no forgiving days, and oh, by the way, they're top 25 in the nation. And so, and October and November is a tough time anyway. You're banged up, but so is everybody else. So no one's gonna feel sorry for you. We know that, and we just take it one game at a time, and let the rankings be what they are. We're preparing for every team and not giving anyone more credential, than the other. Just here's what they do well, and here's how we're going to slow that down, or here's where we're going to attack them and try to beat them.
Now you do have some extra time to prepare for the defending national champions coming to town in Texas next Saturday. Mm-hmm. What do you want the team to take from this weekend and the extra time to recover into that senior night matchup?
What it feels like to compete, because I think there were moments that we felt defeated, right, on when they were when we weren't playing well, and very uncharacteristic in a lot of ways. I mean, our passing, while it wasn't necessarily our strongest suit, we hadn't been aced 13 times, and that just feels, it starts being contagious. Because, I mean, we're out of system, and we've been a very good out of system team before. So hitters can still take care of the ball and get good swings. And I could feel us just being, feeling like nothing was working right. And we're like, okay, but here were opportunities that we could have made up for it. Tonight felt different. I felt like we still stayed in there. Whether or not we won the match, or still lost in 3, we still competed better and kind of stayed in the moment, and never felt like that we were completely out of it, for that matter. It just being able to learn and being able to limit those runs, those service runs. Their middle did it. Number 21 did it a couple times, where she had put together 5 and 6 points. 3-point runs. 3-point runs are detrimental, much less 5 and 6. So just learning how to compete and stay in the moment, and being able to impact the game during those moments.
All right, got it. Well, best of luck against the Longhorns, Coach.
Thank you.
Thank you.